All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The business administration major is still scrambling to find any sense of motivation prior to break. I am the least bit qualified to determine whose writing is acceptable and whose isn't, but who really cares? I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Social media, the place where me and many others spend countless hours of our lives receiving instant gratification through memes, ceiling pics, and the occasional depressing TV quote.
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh start.
It is a form that is established in intricate language where your expectations are constantly subverted, and leaving someone on red indicates distaste rather than the conclusion of a conversation. In short, social media runs our lives, and for many, our means of communication online encroaches on how we communicate with one another IRL. This is the acronym, because social media loves acronyms. I still use the word lit unironically, and more times than not, it is the most effective word for me to use in that scenario. This is actually a prime example of what I'm trying to argue. Social media is a plague. Everyone is exposed to social media, but are we dumber because of it? If I were to incorporate the word lit in an English paper, does it make my work inadequate? Does saying the word fuck to emphasize a point impact my credibility? Rightfully so, there is a time and a place to be dropping the occasional curse word. But with language becoming more fluid and open through social media, literary ability is not curbed by its change in delivery. I was introduced to this idea relatively recently as I progressed through one of my English courses in college. I'm a college man. I've learned that traditional English writing has forced several individuals of different backgrounds to assimilate to a certain style of writing, which, to put it in my own words, is very boring and very claustrophobic. In short, writing without any individuality just fucking sucks. It's boring, it's not fun to write, and it's not fun to read. It just fucking sucks. A site called Acrolinks actually introduces an interesting point of view. They write, "There's no evidence that social media is ruining the way we write. On the contrary, depending on how you look at it, it might even be making our language and writing all the richer and more interesting. Students are commonly forced to conform to specific writing prompts for many of their writing assignments. To put it lightly, it's boring. There are minimal original thoughts there, and it just sounds like torture being the English teacher that has to sit there and read through the hundreds of clone essays that their students have written for them. Those who incorporate their own dialects in their writing not only create more intrigue and add a little bit of spice to their writing, but they allow the reader to extract the true emotion and the three-dimensionality of the writer themselves. This examination can easily be achieved with the incorporation of social media language because it is just so straightforward and uninhibited. What's been so amazing about this past semester is that I've had the opportunity to write papers that aren't graded on the quality of the language, but instead the effectiveness of my argument and my ability to get my points across. It's awesome because I'm granted the ability to write about whatever the I want, without having to censor myself. I can be as thorough or as ambiguous as I decide to be. Either are acceptable as long as my point and my thoughts are the ones that are on the paper. Initially, I did take the side of the white man. I know, I take it back, but initially I did. It was a performance by Taylor Malley and a cute little article by Stanley Fish that criticized modern language and the youth's lack of literary skills. I agreed with them when they said that we are too certain about pretty much everything that we say, especially in writing. I was very, very naive, but just listen to Taylor Malley.
That we've just gotten to the point where we're the most aggressively inarticulate generation to come along since, a long time ago.
After I saw this video the first time, I did believe that he had a point, because whenever I feel a sense of criticism towards myself, all I want to do is change it, then defend it. It goes to show that I am a little too easily persuaded, because instead of taking the criticism as a way for me to defend myself, I crawl into a ball and I admit that I am the problem and that I'm the one that needs to change. It wasn't until Melissa Lozada Oliva's poem projected itself in the front of the room and absolutely destroyed Malley's silly little routine. And that was the point where I decided to change my position once again into believing her instead of him.
Maybe everything girls do is evolution of defense mechanism. Like this is protection. Like our likes are our knee pads. Our ums are the knives we tuck into our boots at night. Our you knows are the best friends we call when we're walking down a dark alley.
Watching this video completely reshaped my closed white male-minded ideas on how people should be writing. It illustrates the suppression of raw attitudes and emotions that we don't normally associate with likes, you knows, or ums. I think that it is powerful addressing the defense mechanism that is filler words, especially in the context of gendered language. I could write an entirely different video essay just deconstructing Lozada Oliva's poem, but for the sake of my argument, she tackles the idea that we are meticulously critiquing our own words before they even leave our mouths.
Invisible red pens and college degrees have been making their way into the middle of my sentences. I've been crossing things out every time I take a moment to think.
We deconstruct our thoughts and exclude our feelings in order to come across as more intelligent, because God forbid me being passionate about something comes with a few filler words. This definitely stays true in our writing as well. A good writer has to stay composed no matter how passionate they are in order to avoid the red and blue sirens of Grammarly. I could also just go into depth about how shit Grammarly is and how annoying it is that every single time I write come on, hop off my fucking dick. Sorry. On a separate note, I do hate reading. I'm sorry, but I would rather watch a 2-hour-long video on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore than read an article that seems like it was written by an 85-year-old white man with a PhD. I think a growing population of ADHD kids constantly seeking rushes of dopamine find absolutely zero interest in translating the oldest of English pieces into a response of mundane prompted word vomit. This doesn't mean that we aren't capable. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that we aren't capable. It's just too repetitive and scripted, and you know scripts. Scripts fucking suck. However, when I do write, I do love to believe that my writing means something. That someone can read something that I've written and actually enjoy it, relate to it, or just find it funny and then want to be my friend, and then we can spend all of our time together. Or they just like read it and they're like, oh yeah, this is cool. But I don't think that this can really be achieved through hardcore, academically acceptable English. It's my entire point. Wholeheartedly, I do believe that the gateway to seeing me for who I am is through the way that I speak. How I actually speak. Gila Lyons on Poets and Writer hits it right on the fucking nose when she says, they are trying to explain to, as every writer is at their core, this is who I am, this is what I've seen, this is what I think and feel, this is what has made me, me. Even if I don't care about reading or writing as much as others do, when I do decide to sit down and make my fingers make words, I do want them to be my own. I want those words, at the very least, to mean something to me. Aww. I would love to be willing to write outside of assignments, but in the tiny fragments of time where I'm mashing my fingers onto the keyboard just hoping to get to the word limit, I think that I should be able to use the word lit and receive a little bit of praise for it. All right, we're here. We have reached the conclusion. You do not understand the amount of pain that recording this has caused me, but it has been a lot of fun. So ultimately, I think that the assumption that a writer is less intelligent based on their delivery is absolute fucking bullshit. I also believe that social media grants writers more versatility in their writing, as well as allowing them to express their feelings in a language that almost everyone with a phone is exposed to. Social media is not going away anytime soon. At least I don't think so. But it would be really, really cool if old people would just hop off for a second and let the younger generations cook. Language varies and language changes, so maintaining a single expectations for writing is going to get very, very exhausting for those unwilling to change. It is important for these tough graders to understand that we're still capable of being smart, even with the incorporation of some slang terms and acronyms. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed a business major trying to explain why us Gen Zers aren't as dumb as we sound. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I just need you to understand that as a business major, I have 2 classes a day and I skip half of them. You do the math.
Okay, I'm always saying all change, but I ain't the same. People get it living, they only get it paid. Shame on you. Shame on you. Everything you gain.